Hey, I'm Jill Van Duzen, and you guys, today, let me tell you, real estate is not like it was in 2020. And what you don't know today could cost you thousands. Literally, I've seen it. I'm Jill Van Duzen, and on today's Get Real with Jill show, there you go, we're diving into the buyer and seller mindset and mistakes, costly mistakes that can derail your deal if you are not prepared. So I'm going to just start off super quick, and maybe this will get your attention of what is going on with back on the market and price reductions. Do you ever wonder, as you're looking at the market and you keep seeing this home appear, that why is there a price reduction? Oh, it went pending, then back on the market. Well, I'm going to talk to you about Rockland, Roseville, Lincoln, and Granite Bay. If any of those communities are not part of where you live and you'd like to see your like to know stats on your community, just let me know and I will get that to you. So think about this. In the last 15 days, only 15 days, and this is really a good representation of the tri-counties. Rockland, 9 homes came back on the market. 33 had price reductions. Roseville, 27 homes came back on the market. That's a lot. 99 homes, price reductions. Lincoln, 15 homes. That's like one a day, came back on the market. 63 price reductions. Granite Bay, 8 homes came back on the market. 13 price reductions. So you guys, if you're, I'm wondering, as a buyer or seller or a future buyer or seller, are you going, why is this happening? So let me tell you why. We are not in 2020 anymore. We are not in April 2025 anymore. We are not in June 2025 anymore. No, we are in September of 2025, and the market is different than it was just in the past. And we are not going to live in the past. We are going to live for today and the future. Do you really? So anybody who has the mindset of, but it was this 6 months ago, the comps are not even right for 6 months ago. So not only are we not in 2020 anymore, I mean, think about that as a seller. That was crazy and amazing for sellers. But the mindset of the generations today that are changing of what they are also looking for a home that they want, all right? So if you're selling your home, please listen up, because I want to get you to a point where you're not going to derail your own transaction and cost you thousands of dollars. And as a buyer, we're going to talk about how you can prevent having to give it all away, everything that you have saved to buy the house that you want. All right, so let's talk about this. So here are some key points for sellers: inspections and pricing. So many people that are putting their home on the market do not do their pre-listing inspections. You guys, the Bay Area has been doing it for years. I've been recommending it now for probably 10 years. Get your pre-listing inspections done. And or do you want a buyer to tell you what's wrong with your house? Get it all done first. Take a look, talk with your realtor of what items should be done and not done. Because remember, nobody wants to do, why would a buyer want to do stuff that you don't even want to do? So protect your equity in your home, do your pre-listings first, because imagine you get into contract, you haven't done any of your pre-listings first, your pre-inspections. You haven't done any of your inspections. You're in contract, buyer is super excited and says they go and they have to spend $1,200 to $1,500 on their inspections. And then there's a laundry list of stuff. And they're like, even if you said as a seller, we'll take it on, don't worry, the buyer gets buyer's remorse. AKA, as a known example, Roseville had 27 homes back on the market. So you wonder why they come back on the market. That is a great example to it. And a seller can all day long could say, we'll take care of these things, or we'll give you a credit. People today don't want to take on the problems that you didn't even take on, okay? So if you didn't take it on, how would you expect the buyer to? And then pricing your home. So a lot of times we also see, oh, I just want to sell an as-is condition. Okay, totally understand. A, get your pre-listing inspections because we want to make sure that when a buyer comes in, they already know what the house looks like before they make their offer. And if you're like, I don't want to do anything, I know the carpet's gross, I know we had pets and there's pee smell, we'll just give them a credit. Okay, well, think about that. You guys, make your house a product. If you want to sell an as-is condition, I get it, but do some prep work. You really have got to invest in your home if you're going to put it as a product on the market, if you want to save your equity. If you're like, we just want to dump it, get rid of it, then you price it low enough for somebody. And remember, that means that you're minimizing the buyers, because now there's only going to be a certain amount of buyers that maybe could afford and have enough cash to do the work that you didn't do. So let's take the carpet for example. I'll just give them a credit. Why would I replace 3 or 4 rooms of carpet? I may not even pick the choice that they want. Well, here's why I suggest you replace the carpet. Because it's not like you have to get expensive carpet. You want to create somebody walking in, even if you're going to do it in as-is condition, somebody walking in going, wow, they have really maintained the home. It is an as-is condition. Inspection, so dry rot, some roof work has to be done. I get it. But wow, they've done a really nice job. Or you can walk in and go, oh my gosh, that's so gross. I can smell smoke. There's pee in the carpet. So just spend a little bit of money to prevent that where you're going to lose buyers. And again, think about this. If you say to yourself, I will give a credit to the buyer. Well, we don't even have the buyer, or the buyer hasn't even walked into your house yet, but in the remarks, credit to buyer for carpet. You will lose certain people. You want to keep all of your options opened in today's market. We're not in 2020, we're in 2025. All right, so think about this. If you were going to resell, if you're going to bring your car into a dealership, your used car, and then it's going to go on their used car lot, do you think they just took the keys from you and they drove it over to the used car lot? Absolutely not. They cleaned it up. They scrubbed it. It smells beautiful. They've got the carpets cleaned. They may even have put in new rugs. Who knows? But they didn't take it from you and just put it on the used car lot. They did things to spruce up your home. So inspections and pricing are very important. You price it based on today's market. You hired a realtor to help guide you through the process so that you can sell your home with as much equity. And suggestions are worth keeping more equity in your pocket versus, for example, the 33 price reductions we just saw in Rockland. All right? So be asking yourself, why are homes coming back on the market? Why the price reductions? Why are homes sitting? Why are homes not sitting? The ones that are not sitting are ready to go on the market and they're priced right because there are buyers out there. People think people are waiting. Well, after interest rates are coming down, people aren't going to wait anymore, but as a seller, they're still going to be picky, the buyer. So make sure your house is ready. Even if interest rates drop, the buyer mindset doesn't say, oh, okay, the house can have smoke smell. No, they're still going to be very, very picky to pay for a home. Especially, you can barely even get into Rockland for $500,000. All right, so the longer it sits, the worse it's going to get, and this is why we're seeing the price reductions. For example, in Roseville, 99 price reductions in 15 days. All right, so inspections and pricings, cleaning and prep work. The goal is, if your home is older, and Rockland has 30 plus, Rockland, Roseville, Lincoln, Granite Bay, all came on the map 30 years ago with new homes, new developments. These homes are 30 years old. Doesn't mean you have to do a complete remodel, but freshen it up. Bring youth to the home. Staging is everything. If it's vacant, get your home staged. Yes, it may cost $2,000 to $4,000 to do it, but I promise you, you will keep more money in your pocket than if you didn't stage it. And you might even say to yourself, well, I can walk into a house and I could see what the vision is. That is you, and kudos to you. But most people can't, they don't have that vision. So think about it. When a new home builder puts their models on the market, or not on the market, when their models are out there for people to see, do they have staging items? Absolutely. You don't walk into 6 or 7 different floor plans and there's not furniture in them. There is furniture in them. And then also one thing to note, and I'm not asking you to do this, also in model homes that you go to view, they don't have doors on them. Have you noticed that? All the doors are gone. They want to show space. They want to create a product. If you're going to put your house on the market, create a product for the buyer that is going to buy your home. Do not create a product for you buying your own home. This is not the same buyer. Generations have changed and features and needs have changed, because maybe you bought your home even 10, 15 years ago. You may not have been asking for solar. You probably were not asking for an electric vehicle hookup, right? And then tri-levels back in the late 80s, early 90s, flying off the shelf. Do you see new home builders building tri-levels anymore? No. So you've got to price it based on what today's needs are to attract that buyer. Doesn't mean they're not going to buy your house. They will buy it. It just has to be priced right and ready to go. Overlook details. So when you go to do your disclosures, make sure if you, or let's say this, if you are taking your hot tub, say hot tub is not included. Everything has to be in writing. If you say that you have two, or if you say you have 3 garage door remotes, I know this is minimal, you better have 3 garage door remotes, because the buyer that's buying your property is going to be asking for 3. Do not let anything be a vague expectation. If you are going to take your attached outdoor lights, and I always say this to the buyer too, if they want the attached outdoor lights, say it. Or if you're like, well, I'm going to take the curtains but not the rods. Every single thing, do not assume. Everything has to be in the listing agreement that you're taking. Everything needs to be in the contract with the buyer that you're taking or leaving. That is not attached. Okay, that's a personal item. So somebody may be thinking that you are leaving the curtains because the rod is attached. You can leave the rod, but you may be taking your curtains, and those curtains may have been perfect with the house. So, and then understand the buyer mindset. The buyer's mindset is different today, like I was saying. So when you meet with your realtor together, your realtor should tell you the buyer that's going to buy your home. So if it's a $500,000, $550,000, $550,000, usually, or $600,000, usually it's a first-time home buyer. If you're in an active adult community, then that's a whole different buyer. So know who the buyer is of your home. All right, so that's how, as a seller, you're going to protect your equity. Remember, you hired realtors. You're paying a realtor good money to help you keep the equity in your home and do what's right, so your home is not sitting, so that you can move on to your future. Remember, today is what you're looking at, not the past. So here's some leverage for a buyer, so that when you find your dream home, which is in your price range, which most likely, if the house is priced right, you're going to be competing, even though it might just be one offer. All right, so how do you compete in today's market when you find your dream home? Well, I will tell you, last month, 3 of my clients not only were buying homes, they were selling homes. So that is happening a lot right now, that they're selling and buying at the same time. Well, how many times or have you heard, or is this you, that you are looking at homes to buy and you have to sell your home, but you don't want to sell your home because you want to find your perfect dream home? So you're out looking, shopping, nothing, nothing, nothing. You find your perfect dream home. You don't even have your house on the market. You haven't hired a realtor. You haven't done your pre-listing inspections. You don't even know what your house is even worth. You haven't done photos, but you found your perfect dream home, and the next day you wake up because you're going to start interviewing your realtor and the house is gone. It's pending. So, or you can say, yep, I don't have any of these things ready. So let's just offer 20,000 or 25,000 more, and then we'll get it on the market. So now you just opened up your whole robe, your whole savings account, and now you're giving away way more equity that you have saved, not equity, savings that you have to buy this home, your dream home. Because why would a seller that just put their house on the market take a contingent offer based on you having to sell your home, and it's not even on the market, it's not even in contract or on the market? So here's what my suggestion is, because there are options for you. A, talk to a lender, because there's possibilities that maybe you can do a HELOC, buy a home, sell your home. That's option A. Option B is get your house all ready to go. Actually, this would be option 3. Option 2, get your house on the market now. Do it now, contingent upon you finding a replacement property. So that gives you an out. Buyers that want your home, they will patiently wait because they are excited to have your house and be in contract. Sell your home, contingent upon finding a replacement property. Your home is on the market, your home is pending, but the buyer's not, you're just sitting, waiting for that dream home. So that dream home comes on the market, you rush over, you're like, yes, let's put in an offer that we don't have to have our whole robe opened, but we can say, here's what we're doing, and we can close in 15 days because this buyer is just waiting for us to find the home. That makes your offer so much stronger. Number 3, I just realized hopefully I am live, right? I forgot to ask you, Michelle, if I'm live. Anyway, I'm thinking I am. So, number 3 is have the house ready to go. And I actually just did this with one of my clients in August. We already had the photos done. We had the photos done, and their house was ready to go. It was beautiful. I had everything in MLS ready to go so that when they put in an offer and when the offer was accepted, I just hit submit. But I will tell you this was a learning lesson, and thankfully the seller was okay with this, but we only had 17 days to get their house into contract. And I said to my clients, price it at this amount and let's get multiple offers and bring it up. I think it was $749 I said. They said, no, let's price it at $799. Like, it's not going to happen at $799. And you may lose this home that you've been waiting for at this price. And we only have 17 days to get your home into contract. Well, after 2 weeks, we're going to be getting a notice to perform here, and you're going to lose. And so they said, okay, let's just go to $749, and bam. We did not have time even to say, okay, let's take a couple of other offers. These people did come up a little bit, but I think they would have even had more equity saved and leverage with multiple offers if they would have just started at $749 from the beginning. I'm not saying that I'm right. I'm just saying that's an example. And you guys hire us. We know the market. We are in this market every single day. We are talking with buyers and sellers every single day. We are talking with other realtors in our industry about what's going on. So when you meet with your realtor, they want you to be able to keep as much money in your pocket as possible, sell your home, buy your dream home, and there's options for each. But make sure you're making the right decision and not gamble, because as soon as you gamble, you are usually going to leave money on the table. All right. So, if make sure you have as much leverage as possible, and then pre-approval. So even if you're buying or selling, make sure you're already pre-approved with the lender, not later. Do it now. And if you're like, well, I don't have a house to sell, you've got to still be pre-approved. So make sure you have all that done. And a lot of first-time home buyers out there, which is awesome, a lot of them will have gifts from their parents to help with today's high pricing. So make sure you have the gift letters ready to go, proof of funds. If you're putting 20% down or 3.5% down, we have to have recent bank statements to show proof of funds, because the seller's listing agent is going to tell the seller, well, they're offering this much, they're putting this much down, but we don't know if they really have the money or not. That comes with, it's in the contract, proof of funds. You have to have proof of funds. And if the seller may also say, well, I see that there's a gift letter from the parents. I don't know if the parents have $10,000. So to have those conversations now up front with your parents or your grandparents or your aunt, because they may have to show proof of funds. So they may be like, well, I don't want my kids to know how much money I really have in the account. That's okay, because you can actually funnel all of that through to the lender. The lender will get it to the buyer's agent. We cross out, everybody can cross out account numbers, but you have to show proof that Mr. and Mrs. Smith actually have that money that they're saying that they're gifting, all right? People don't think that. They just think, oh yeah, my parents are gonna give us money. You have to prove that. It has to be proven. You guys, everything has to be in writing. Remember, oh, and the other thing, a lot of companies will provide, like Kaiser, for example, they give money to help with down payments, but it is a process and it takes time. So make sure that you do that, because you will lose out on a house if we said, well, Kaiser, for example, is going to be giving this much money for the dog donors or whoever to put down. Well, if that listing agent doesn't see that and there's multiple offers and you can't prove because you don't have that Kaiser letter yet, they're going to take the other offer because you didn't prove that you're really getting that. You have to prove it. You really don't send in a resume half written, do you? I hope not, because they're going on to the next one. It's the same here. You've got to have your full package ready to go. All right, and know your closing costs. A lot of people don't understand that there's closing costs when you buy a home. If you buy a home that's $600,000 and you're putting 5% down, you've got to remember closing costs are involved, which is why I always have an appointment with my lender and a buyer so that they know exactly what this is looking like. So we do a buyer presentation, my lender and I together, because it's important, because what a buyer doesn't know what they don't know. I don't know what they don't know. They may think that, oh, we have 5% down, that's all we need. And then there's closing costs. What's title? What's insurance? How much is homeowners? The list goes on and on. So make sure that you guys know this is a big investment. Be educated on the process. Do not leave money on the table, and do not derail your own deal. All right, so the contract. Buyers, please listen up. This happens so much with the contract. They're like, well, I thought they were leaving their lights. That's the backyard lights. That's the whole reason why we bought the house. It was the beauty of the lights that were outside. That's personal property. Those were attached, but it is personal property. Or what about they take the TV, but the thing on the back is left, and you're like, I don't want that big ugly thing left. We don't even watch TV. We don't allow the kids to watch TV. All the bedrooms, the personal TV was left, but that thing was attached. Or we thought the hot tub was being left. We thought the playset was being left. If it's not in writing, don't assume it's going to happen. And here's the other thing. They walk in and the house is dirty. Ventured, everything's dirty. They're like, well, we wanted the house cleaned. Did you ask for the house to be cleaned? You've got to ask for it. If you want it, you have to ask for it. Well, we didn't want to ask for it because there was competitive offers, and we wanted them to take our offer. We didn't want to ask too much. Okay, well then you're going to have the house cleaned because you didn't ask for it in the offer. It's all got to be in writing, you guys. That's why I always like to do my buyer presentation as well, especially for first-time home buyers. So if it's not in the contract, don't expect it. All right. So you guys, I hope this is helpful. Please share it. This is the buyer's mindset is different than it was when you bought your house. The different needs for people are not the same. We are in 2025. And remember, if you look back in April, those comps are not the same to list your home. So as you're sitting down with a professional, have the multiple conversations, but do what you should be doing so that you are keeping equity in your pocket, that you're not leaving a ton of money on the table, and you're not derailing the transaction. You want to make this very smooth. You want to have as much given to the buyers as possible so that they are not telling you what's wrong with your house, that you already know what's wrong with your house and you price it accordingly. All right, you guys, I hope again this was helpful. Thank you so much for joining Get Real with Jill. And please, if you have missed any of the past episodes, subscribe to YouTube. You can see this on Spotify podcast as well. Tomorrow I am doing a pre-recording with my son Kyle, who was diagnosed with juvenile diabetes, and he is going to be talking about his journey with living with diabetes and the trials that he has gone through. And now that he's 31, what does that all look like? And because juvenile diabetes is huge now. And then also please go back, Ken Burns, who is Drive for Impact. He has some great fundraisers coming up. He is fighting human trafficking. That is number 4 in the Sacramento region. And it was a tough episode to do and to even watch back, but it's so important, especially with kids going back to school and you allowing your 16-year-olds now or maybe 13-year-olds going to the mall. You guys, if you're human, you are a target of human trafficking. All right, so thank you so much for watching Get Real with Jill. I am your host, Jill Van Dusen, and remember, as you can see, so much is going on in our nation, and there's just so much chaos. I don't know what you're going through, but I will promise you this. Your smile can make a difference in somebody else's life, and I promise their smile back at you can make a difference in your life. All right, you guys, just be kind. Everybody wants to be loved. Everybody wants to be heard. And we're all human. We're all souls, no matter what's going on. So please be kind to others, and I so appreciate you watching. Have a great week, and I will see you next week on Get Real with Jill.